Let me begin by asking a question. How many of you are living your lives based on the perfection creed? Is FOMO, the fear of missing out, or the fear of not conforming to societal perceptions or expectations making you doubt yourself? Giving you nocturnal heebie-jeebies? Well, you are not alone. Welcome to the second Sochcast of the Magic Unleashed show, and I'm your host Sana Chawla and the author of the book The Magic Within. To answer those questions, I'm sharing with you excerpts from the story My Perfectly Imperfect Life by Sharn. I met Sharn in Singapore and I loved her journey of self-discovery and healing. Her various skills and zest for life, always learning and growing, inspired me to reach out to her and share her story. She now runs Empower Life, a company that helps people celebrate life through various stages with resilience and optimism. So her story goes like this. The astrologer looked at me grimly and announced, "Beti, you do not have a cookie-cutter life." Well, I thought that was awesome. A life that was not ordinary, but extraordinary. The man, draped in Rudraksh beads, perfumed with sandalwood and swathed in soft cream khadi clothing, looked at me with a concerned expression and said, "Nahi beti, it's not good. You don't have a normal life." So people here today listening, I want to ask you, what is the difference between a normal and an extraordinary life? Personally for me, it means stepping into my space, honoring myself, and consistently breaking your own limits. Living extraordinarily simply means living to improve our authentic selves, to becoming a better you. You don't have to stamp your name on human history to be extraordinary. All you need to is to possess the willpower to work towards it every day, which is good enough for any good soul like us to live an extraordinary life. It's our mindset and perception of life that plays a crucial part. Vlogger and inspirational speaker Jay Shetty says, "I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am." It's a thought-provoking insight that makes us live in this perception of ourselves. We are habituated and programmed our minds from thinking from a one-way perspective. Only when we open our vision to more possibilities do we realize that we already are in the right path to living an extraordinary life. Now continuing Sharn's story, she says, "I was born into an environment that cultivated confidence. I'm the youngest and only daughter in a family of 2 elder brothers. Though we were a middle-class family, I was literally raised with a silver spoon in my mouth. Mom always insisted we ate using silver cutlery. I was a natural born performer, and from an early age I participated with ease in lead roles in school plays. I love dancing and singing, and I still do. Power, position, and people did not scare me. For me, leadership was not an appointed role, but a way of being that resonated, a sense of confidence that influences and creates a following. My mom, though she worked full-time, entertained and supported my uniqueness. We moved to Melbourne when I was 9 years old, and even with my poor grasp of English, I was undeterred. I confidently tried to engage in my Hindi-English dialect. I believed everyone would and should understand me, and surprisingly they did. In retrospect, I was by no means the most popular kid during the school, or at least I was average. I was by no means the prettiest. I was average. I was not the tallest or fattest, though I was always on the bigger side, but I was average. I wasn't the most academically inclined, though during our high school scholarship process, I was one of the 12th that received a special mention as runner-up. I was happy being average. I was satisfied with the complacency of floating along in my average cookie-cutter life. Life continued its perfectly ordinary existence. Halfway through my first year at university, I met my husband-to-be. We dated secretly for 2 years and fell in love. At 20 years old and still in my final year university, I was determined to get married to my 20-year-old boyfriend. Ours was the first big Punjabi wedding in Melbourne. We had shattered society's norms by secretly dating, falling in love, and getting married. And that too while we were studying. Family and friends were split in their sentiments about our marriage. Some felt it was a marriage made in heaven, and others felt it was the making of a disastrous tale. "She must be pregnant," they exclaimed. "It won't last. They will ruin their studies, career, success, and future." We had failed per society's norm. I was no longer part of the ordinary existence. It was the first time in my life that I was subjected to society's judgment for stepping out of the ordinary cookie-cutter life, for failing. By God's grace, I have supportive in-laws, and with their blessings and my confidence towards my decisions, I stood strong and determined towards my studies, marriage, and career. But societal judgments had changed something in me. Now I aspired to prove my success, to corroborate my life choices to others. I wanted them to feel that they were wrong about me. Overnight, everything has changed, and now I began to seek perfection. I was striving to be that perfect being, balancing my studies, raising children through sleepless nights, breastfeeding each child till they were 14 months, cooking and playing host to countless dinner parties at home. I strove to be a domestic goddess, a social butterfly, daughter-in-law and daughter, all rolled in one. As time passed, perfectionism had become more prevalent in my life. I had completed my MBA with good grades and had to kickstart to my career. I kept pushing myself to excel, and society kept on acknowledging this. The web of perfectionism that I had made for myself robbed my unique identity and happiness. The pressure to become perfect in every domain was increasing by each passing day. And finally, I had the first symptom of perfectionist syndrome started manifesting itself. Despite having it all, a loving family, a good career, a healthy life, I felt lost. I should have been grateful, but I was discontented and unhappy with everything, with no potential to articulate why it was happening to me. Was this midlife crisis? Or was it boredom? We shifted to Singapore, and I continued to carve a new plan of success and to advance my career. I traveled extensively, pushing myself to success with promotions and remunerations, and missed out on children's school functions. Chasing perfection and avoiding failure had made me a person of extremes. It was a weird oxymoron, and the result was I lost my balance in life. The second symptom of perfectionism materialized. I did not have any idea which goal I was chasing. Was it even my goal? Now I began to work to please others, to fit into those societal norms. This depleted my confidence because I was not doing what I felt like doing. everything I did, anything I was doing at that point of time was to keep in mind how society, family, friends would think about that. I continued to fear failure. Feedback to me was a sign that I was failing and not good enough, not perfect. After some time, I had developed a third symptom, the imposter syndrome. When anybody gave me any feedback or any constructive criticism, it hurt me. Rather than taking it as an opportunity to do better in future, I started lacking confidence, which led to the thought that I am not good enough. I started defending myself at even the slightest hint of criticism to preserve my fragile self-image. Soon the fourth symptom raised its ugly head. I was overweight with a lack of energy. I acquired a pituitary tumor which manages the major function of hormones. Disregarding health, I kept on persisting towards work ethics, neglecting myself and family. I plied myself with more medication and unrelentingly pressed towards chasing success and perfectionism. Amidst all this chaos happening in my life, I had an opportunity to have my own cooking show. A dream that came true. And for the first time in all these years, I released fear of judgment. Because this was what I always wanted to do. I started feeling like myself again, my authentic self. Today I feel joyful and free. Yes, a critical inner voice surfaces now and then, but I hush it back to sleep. I continue to strive to be the best of my best. This liberation has set me free to realize I can do something and make a difference. For that to happen, I had to give up other people's definition of success. I realize this is difficult as it is so deeply embedded in our cultural narratives that it becomes the standard by which we measure our lives. By giving up other people's definition of success is incredibly liberating and ultimately leads to the fullest expression of who you are and what matters to you. It's not a one-time thing. It's a daily habit of comparing less and creating more. Surely success is not in living a perfect life based on society's norms, but in living rather a meaningful life, the perfectly imperfect life. Yes, mine is not the cookie cutter life, but more like a luscious cupcake with a cherry on top. My 5 mottos in life: embrace your failures as much as your success. Live without fear, or nirbhav, which is scriptures from the Sikhism. Believe in yourself and others without judgment. Be positive and grateful always. Keep dancing and spread happiness and love. And that's the end of Sharn's story, and I hope you loved the story listening to it and got some nuggets of wisdom in it. Until the next time, my friends.